When it comes to video game television adaptations, how they turn out can often feel like Lady Luck flipping a coin.
You've made your last delivery, kid.
Arcane, Edge Runners, The Last of Us, all landed on heads. And then you have...
Oh my goodness!
And of course there's the fiasco with Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher show. So when I heard that there was a Fallout TV series in production, well, I was a little skeptical. But those skepticisms were laid to rest, and the only thing I could say was...
What in the goddamn?
I expected the Fallout TV series to be average at best, but it is unbelievably good.
You wanna make my cock explode now?
What? The Fallout show was produced by Jonathan Nolan, brother of Christopher Nolan, and if you know these guys, you know that they rarely miss. The TV show has renewed interest in the other Fallout games as well, causing a recent surge in their player counts. Likely because the show reminds people what they love about Fallout.
I have an idea. What if I were to do like a thumbs up?
So this video is going to be mostly spoiler free, but if there is something I want you to experience in the show yourself, then I'll put something up on screen. This video has no sponsor because it's sponsored by me.
Cringe!
And my public Discord server, the Act Clan, which you should join right now. It's a great place to talk about games, shoot the shit, and just have a good time. We also have a channel where you can post fan edits, and you know what? This place is cursed. I'm actually going to delete it. The show follows a trio of main characters. Lucy, a member of Vault 33 who goes into the wasteland to rescue her dad, the Ghoul, aka Cooper, a former movie star turned bounty hunter, and Maximus, a member of the Brotherhood of Steel who has aspirations of becoming a knight. Now I'm going to assume you're familiar with the premise of Fallout. Nuclear warfare threatens the world. A company named Vault-Tec is contracted by the government to create fallout shelters, aka vaults. Nuclear war does break out in 2077, hundreds of years pass. Well, let's open the vaults and see what the world is like. What the fuck is that? The Fallout universe is expansive and deep. I mean, these are RPGs you can play for thousands of hours. There's 27 years worth of lore and backstory to tap into. So translating that to the big screen was probably the hardest thing about making this show, but they've managed to capture the essence of what makes Fallout Fallout. But just like the games, it's not solely about the main objective, it's also about the breadth of side content and side characters. There are tons of quirky, funny people that populate the wasteland, and they do a great job of illustrating how people have adapted to this new world. I figured we should talk about the criticisms and get those out of the way, because there's not too many. The biggest and obviously most important critique, Ron Perlman doesn't voice the intro. F in the chat.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but war.
Ron Perlman has been in every Fallout, so it's a little disappointing that he's not here. Regardless, the show still has a fantastic opening sequence. The show also doesn't go out of its way to explain all of the tech and lore of the universe, so if you're not already familiar with Fallout, some things might be confusing or unclear. But because the show is good, that'll make people curious in the lore, and they'll want to look things up. You know, what are the other vaults like? Some of the fight choreography, mostly like hand-to-hand combat stuff, can look a little soft. Sometimes characters are put in really dangerous situations and they just kind of bullshit their way through it. But the biggest complaint I've been seeing is about retconning. The history and lore of Fallout is really fucking cool. The series has been around since '97, so naturally fans want to protect that, especially since the show has been confirmed as canon, so it needs to line up with the other games. Now, I'm no expert on the lore of Fallout, and typically I'm not one who obsesses over lore in video games and consistent timelines and all that. It's pretty easy for me to suspend my disbelief if what I'm watching or playing is amazing, entertaining, and immersive enough. But since the show has been confirmed as canon, this is a new direction for the Fallout series. It could have a huge impact on the next game. Obviously, people don't want Bethesda to fuck that up. Now, this is my perspective as a Halo fan. If retcons and lore consistency are the biggest complaints people have, that's a good problem to have. The producers of the Halo show created an entirely new timeline just to fuck it up and intentionally ignore the lore of Halo. That's how far they wanted to go in the not Halo direction. So often we see adaptions that look and feel nothing like the source material. What I'm trying to say is that I'm bitter. I'm bitter that you guys have a great show. And that's not to say you can fuck with the lore as much as you want as long as the end product is good, but it's nice to keep things in perspective, you know? The show is great, it's entertaining, it 100% feels like Fallout in every way, and that's what makes the Fallout TV series so awesome, its identity and tone.
Goosey McLean.
Oh, no, it's Lucy.
Nope. It says Goosey.
Fallout is part post-apocalyptic depression-fueled nightmare and part hilarious dark comedy. They absolutely nailed this vibe.
You're a coward. You know that shit?
We all are, Norm. That's why we live in a vault.
You can tell that great care was taken to get the details, the intricate subtleties just right. Sound effects like for radiation are there. There's a lot of things hardcore fans will notice and appreciate. I don't think there was ever a joke in the show that made me roll my eyes, groan, or sigh. No Marvel-esque, uh-oh, he's behind me, isn't he? The humor lands, and it's funny. A lot of the jokes are purely visual. There's one part where this character Thaddeus is waiting for pickup at a radio station, and he's talking to the radio operator who's trying to tell him about how nobody appreciates the music he plays. And Thaddeus is just like, oh yeah, cool. Then it zooms out and he says,
Great job on these booby traps, by the way. Really good. Hey, thanks.
and it's like, all these people died because they wanted to confront the radio guy over the shitty music he played. The show is also wildly out of pocket at times.
You wanna have sex?
You mean use my cock?
Yeah.
Men will get a signal like this and straight up be like, I wonder if she's into me. You'll be blindsided by some crazy shit that happens. If you don't audibly shout, what the fuck? At least once while watching this, then you are a robot who cannot feel emotion. It's time to power off. Lucy is from Vault 33, and most of the vaults have some kind of experiment on the people in them. So each group of vault dwellers is kind of weird and different in their own way. Lucy comes from a vault where everyone is super optimistic, naive, soft, and kind. And so much of the comedy revolves around the contrast between, her obnoxious, upbeat attitude and what's really outside of the vault. They do a fantastic job of showing what life and culture is like in this vault. At one point, they hold an election for new overseer, and one of the candidates says,
You ran a great campaign.
I know. Must have put 10 posters up.
What you gotta do when you put a few posters up and let democracy run its course.
Ella Purnell, the actress for Lucy, said she wanted to approach the role like Ned Flanders in the apocalypse. This is the most accurate description of her character. She's fucking awesome. Throughout the show, she almost reflects like the player's experience playing Fallout for the first time. Initially you start off naive, like, well, how bad could it be? And by the end, you're like, this place is fucking awful. Lucy's character arc, going from naive vault dweller to woman of the wasteland, is a really interesting one. Now, it wouldn't be Fallout if there wasn't some extreme violence and gore. And to be honest, the show kind of drops the ball here. It's really tame. We do a little trolling. No, the violence is insane. Exactly like the games. People get their legs blown off, they get dismembered, decapitated, and the effects are amazing. A lot of times I can't tell what, if anything, is CG or green screened. The show is simply a spectacle to watch. At one point in episode 2, I was like, why are they using so much slow-mo? Then I realized I'm a fucking idiot. They're recreating the iconic cinematic kill cam. It's amazing. Mwah. It's so good. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I saw any energy weapons or laser guns in the show. But there's so much from Fallout to tap into, and we gotta have stuff for season 2, right? There's a language to cinema that has not been ignored. The Fallout series does a lot of showing. Scenes are often carried by the expressions of the actors. They dictate a scene and tell us more than words could. Everyone's acting is fucking phenomenal. Brevity is the soul of wit. They go for a less is more approach with dialogue. And this works really well in scenes where Norm is uncovering the dark secrets of the vault and what's really going on. And one of my pet peeves in storytelling is when I notice that I'm being fed exposition. Like when characters talk in a way that feels like they're speaking to the audience, they're just not looking at the camera. Bugs the shit out of me, takes me out of the story. But in the Fallout show, I get so wrapped up in what's happening that I forget when scenes are meant to inform me of something important. This is a sign of well-written, thought-out dialogue that lets the viewer feel like they're uncovering things with the character and not just being told about them, if that makes sense. What makes the show so easily likable is how it pays service to the fans. With numerous references, callbacks, every episode had me like, yo, that's that thing from the games that I'm not gonna explicitly mention because you should watch the show yourself so you can have that oh shit moment like I did. Now, I've been bringing up a lot of things that the Fallout show doesn't do, mistakes it doesn't make, and I think that's equally important to what it does well when making a show like this. Because if the fan service is too on the nose, too blatant, you know, it can feel like a, huh? Fallout's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, you like that? You like that shit? And there's never a moment like that. Everything feels natural. It's just the right amount. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched the entire show. I'm gonna mention some references, Easter eggs, and cameos that I thought were really fucking cool. So if you want to have those oh shit moments yourself, skip to the timestamp. All right, now that it's just me and you, me and the real Fallout fans, how about that fucking Mr. House cameo? That was awesome. And all those scenes where Norm is like, you know, on computer terminals, I was just waiting for the hacking screen to pop up. And when it did, oh, I don't know why I got so hyped on that. I was like, there's no way Norm's gonna fucking crack this password. And then of course he did, but Norm has obviously spec'd into science and intelligence. You know, little stuff like that, just, it gets people excited. One of my favorite lines of dialogue that summarizes Fallout and Elder Scrolls better than any sentence ever has.
What about the head? I need the head to get my dad back.
Yeah, well, the Wasteland's got its own golden receiver.
Oh, what's that?
Now, Shao gets sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
Bruh, it's exactly like the games. I also thought it was hilarious when Knight Titus is fighting the Yao guy, and he just starts running away like, fuck, shit. Because even when you have power armor, that still happens in the games. That moment when Lucy is in Vault 4 and she holds up the NCR flag as the Fallout theme plays. Fan service done right. Spoilers over. Another way they pay fan service is through the music, ripping some of the most iconic tracks from the games. They got the list of best bops from the series in here. They have music that was featured in the games, but also entirely new tracks. And they fit so well within the scenes that I'm like, did they come up with this song for this scene? Because it always seems to match the lyrics with what's happening on screen. It's uncanny. When Maximus and Lucy are walking along some railroads, it plays a version of I've Been Working on the Railroad. There's a ton of examples. Watch the show yourself and see how many you can find. Also, you might notice that the outro for each episode has that slow moving zoom out that you see at the start of Fallout 3, New Vegas, and the first game. It's such a nice detail. The show does a really great job of exploring the themes of Fallout in new and interesting ways. It's a very deep narrative that you'll feel rewarded for paying attention. There's a lot of foreshadowing that can probably go over your head, and watching it a second time, you'll be like, oh. Now, I haven't played all the games, but I believe that a lot of the pre-war stuff that happened is rarely covered in Fallout or shown. The show does a fantastic job of swapping between past and present and seeing how things led to nuclear war, who was responsible, why. The way backstory is woven into what's happening in the present is phenomenal. You slowly understand what's happening in the present and how what happened in the past caused the bombs to drop. The Fallout show may have some flaws, and people who, you know, really care about the lore may not care for it, but it's extremely faithful to the source material. For me, it's everything and more I could have hoped to see from a Fallout show. At least a Fallout show that runs for 8 hours. Can't fit everything into a single season. And can I just say, the ending, the final shot, woo! For me, the show does so much right that what it does wrong can easily be overlooked in my eyes. You know, swept out of my brain. When the audience knows and can feel the passion you have for the source material and you clearly respect it, you can get away with some mistakes. This is a show that I could recommend to pretty much everyone fans of Fallout, gaming fans who have never played Fallout, or people that don't even play video games. Take notes, other video game adaptations. This is how you tap into the elusive broader audience, by staying true to what made the source material appeal to a broader audience in the first place. I cannot wait for the next season. I am looking forward to it. I have just been installing a bunch of mods to go replay New Vegas again. There's a lot of potential with the Fallout show. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Who was your favorite character? What was your favorite scene? Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. Also, come join the Act Clan and engage in some tomfoolery. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace.